I actually have two questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Well, one of them is, what other games do you like to play besides Overwatch?
Oh, I really like this question because it's kind of a long one, but it's a long answer. So, I mean, this is gonna kind of age myself, but like I started off, my very first video game was Duck Hunt. Do any of you guys even know what that is? Yeah! Woo! We're like, literally you're like, and like taking the gun and like going up to the monitor and shooting those ducks that still don't die, even though you're touching the monitor, and you're like, how are you not dying? So that was my first one. And then like moving on, of course, like I played a little bit of Street Fighter, and then I have a really funny story. So and this is sort of about women in gaming, but when Street Fighter 2 came out, I always wanted to be Ryu in the white, because I just thought, you don't want to be like Ryu the Challenger, like it's a little different. But like, because I felt was the most skilled player, like overall was a really good character. But then I felt obliged in some way, or like kind of like pressured to pick Chun-Li, because I probably looked most like her as a little girl. And so what this kind of goes into my answer about that, because some people ask me about what I feel about D.Va, and one of the things that I really appreciate about the way Blizzard has made efforts to represent a diverse cast is the fact that who you are, like whether it's your ethnicity or your gender or your sexual orientation or your breed of animal or whatever it is that like you choose to be, whether you're a gorilla or you're a hog, doesn't determine like how like your potential, so like most people wouldn't pick Chun-Li over Ryu, like back in the day, but D.Va can be this like feminine and cute girl, but at the same time has a strength about her that allows her to be just as competitive and compete in the world. And I feel like that really helps overall gamer representation in the industry. So that's sort of the chronological sort of growth that even in my life, seeing like where I started, where I felt like if nobody else picked Ryu, then I could pick Ryu, but otherwise I probably should pick Chun-Li, all the way to who D.Va is and me being getting to be D.Va. So there's that. And then when I was in high school, one of my best friends was a guy and who played video games, and he was playing this game called Tekken. And does anybody know what Tekken is? Woo! So, and it was funny because we'd go home, and then after school, before homework, he would make me spar with him. And by sparring, I mean like I would just have to hold down the same button to like block to do this, and like he would just be like practicing his like combos on me and stuff. And at the time, I wasn't thinking much of it. And I was like, oh, I'm just being like a good friend. But kind of looking back, and we're still friends, so I'm not like talking like bad about him or anything, but looking back, I do think that that's definitely something that he asked me to do because I'm a girl. Like, how many guy friends would he have had that would be like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna sit here and press the same freaking button for you for an hour, like that's just probably not gonna happen. And I feel like the progression and the growth of gaming in general for women and men has changed. That said, there are a lot of other issues with gender equality and stuff like that in the gaming world that, I feel like people are very much aware of and have been hurt by, and that we as the Overwatch cast want to be a positive influence in. And so yeah, there's just a lot to that question. Now, to answer your actual question, after, like, I also played, like, The Lion King. Have you guys played The Lion King on Sega Genesis? That was a freaking awesome game. Like, it sounds like a really, like, kiddish game or whatever, but it was hard. And, like, once you got to that wall and everything, like, Hakuna Matata, all that, like, it was, like, I spent hours and hours playing that game back in the day, and I beat it. And it's kind of like just really like I have a little trophy in my heart because it was a hard game. But I stopped playing, like in college and stuff like that, and then I actually ended up playing Call of Duty Zombies. Anybody else play zombies? Yeah. I don't play like online. I play with a partner, and so I've played upwards of like 6 hours of a game before, and literally I got it for somebody as a gift, and then I ended up being like super addicted to it. And I have all these like different names for all the different guns and stuff like that, like the Cobra Head and like the Wahoo and like the Kaboom. Like I have all these names that like help me like identify which gun I want and stuff. And so I have a big attachment to it. That said, see, I told you this is a long answer. Nikolai, who is voiced by Fred Tatasciore, who plays Soldier 76, was my favorite character on Call of Duty. So last year when I was at the Blizzard panel, the one that some of you guys have seen, I was like seated next to Fred, and I was actually really intimidated because like he could look kind of intimidating physically. So I was like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. Like, who knows? He plays a lot of bad guys too on in like the entertainment world. So, but I met him, and he was literally one of the nicest, if not the nicest, voiceover actor that I had ever met. And so I got even more attached to the character of Nikolai, and he took care of me throughout the panel because I was like shaking like a leaf. I was really, really just shocked to see like what Overwatch became for everybody, because it was the first time I saw people really publicly. Up until then, I hadn't been like recognized, like once in a while they'll be like, hey, were you on Shake It Up? Or, I have some like TV work that people have recognized me for. But now, like, if I walk out in LA, like there'll be like people who are like, hey, D.Va, and I'm like, hey, what's up? But at the time, it was something like new to me, and seeing like 2,000 people in one room, which now at like MomoCon, for example, in Atlanta, it turned out to be like way more, thousands and thousands of people like in the room, and it was insane. But at the time, like even 2,000 people was really, really like nerve-wracking. Like, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I disappoint people? And he was, Fred, who was sat, next to me, was just extremely just like mentoring and loving and kind of like, Daddy 76 and daughter D.Va. I was like, what is going on? And I wasn't even like, I know that's not a romantic ship, and I wasn't even like super aware of, I knew a lot about Gremlin D.Va at the time, but I didn't know about all the different ships that were happening. When Johnny and I first met, Johnny who plays Lucio, it's like, yeah, like they make us. I'm not doing a good Johnny right now because it's been a couple days since I've seen him. Literally, we're with each other, or like we hang out, and like we have, we're doing personal appearances and stuff like every week together. And so when I'm with him, like I'm like, dude, like I totally know how to like be him, but it's been a couple days. But he'll be like, they made us a thing, and that was actually the first time I found out about it. And so interestingly enough. I wasn't as aware, but so it's not because I wanted to see him as like a professional father figure, but it was just because that's who he was. He was just so kind and so humble, and so yeah, that's sort of where art manifests itself in life and vice versa. And now when people ask me, I'm kind of knocking out probably a lot of questions that you guys have, but when people ask me like, who is your favorite voice actor outside of yourself? And I'm like, first of all, I'm not my favorite. I do think I've got some talent, but that doesn't mean I'm my favorite. But definitely Fred Tatasciore is somebody that I look up to tremendously, and for his character, as well as just, he's like super, very just human and very real, and also extremely obviously talented with his over 500 credits. So that, I hope, answers your question. Now, what's your second?
Hello.
Hey, D.Va Mercy.
Hello.
Hi.
So just to say hi, and you're amazing. You're like
Thank
so
you.
nice.
Oh, thank you.
How did you go about getting cast as D.Va? Like getting, the opportunity to voice act as D.Va?
Yeah. So, do any of you guys know this story? Because I'm like trying to think like whether I should make the long version or short version. Actually, it's they're both really a short version of it. But I've been on television for about 11 and a half years. And about in high school, people, like I'll be talking like in the hallway and people will just literally be like, oh, I knew it was you. I don't know if you guys know, but my stage name is Charlotte. It's a long story, but my real life name, my given name is Chihye. And so they'll like say to me like, I knew it was you, Chihye. Like you sound, I mean, it's just like your voice is so distinct. And so I thought, okay, well, outside of acting, once I kind of got my foot into the Hollywood door, so to speak, and really had a consistent TV career going, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to see if I could get into voiceover. And I think, some people might not, but I think getting into voiceover is a lot harder than it is to get into television. It's kind of crazy because it's like it's sort of like a very close-knit group. So like if you end up getting in it, then you're like really in it, and like you're one of the boys or one of the girls, I should say. But if it's really hard to like get your foot in the door. So that said, it was really easy for me to find like a television agent, but then it started to get kind of like more challenging to find a voiceover agent. The first person I reached out to ended up representing me, but then I still felt like it was more work than it was for me to get a television agent. So that said, I auditioned for the role, and they didn't tell me what company it was for or anything like that. They didn't really tell me much about her, like, at all, except for that she's kind of like a Korean pop star, and like she is, she plays. They didn't even tell me she plays games. They just told me she's a Korean pop star. So eventually I go to the callback where the producers are, and I met Andrea Toyas, who's our beloved casting director and director of the game, and actually wears many, many hats for Overwatch. But I saw people being signed in at like, for Blizzard Entertainment. We go into this studio in LA that kind of houses various different productions. And so I walked in and I was like, is this for Blizzard? Like, I didn't even know if it was for Blizzard. And like, they really don't tell us much, And so I auditioned. I think it came down to me and a couple other girls. Interestingly enough, one of my friends at the time, it was also up for it too. And somehow I just really, I don't know. I felt her in my heart. I was like, this is me. Like, I don't understand. Like, why look further? So we auditioned. I auditioned for it, and then a couple weeks later, I was told that I got the role, and I still didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I looked up the trailer, which is what just had kind of come out with like Tracer and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, all right. So I'm going to be in this like video game. I guess I'm a new hero, and then it's been history since.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you have any advice for someone who might want to go into acting?
Yeah, into acting. Well, I always give like, okay, so the good, short, quick answer is you kind of have to be in one of the sort of main coasts, right? Like you either have to be in LA, it depends. If you want to be in theater, then you obviously, would want to head towards New York, but ultimately you're gonna have to like move out to LA. So that's sort of like the bad news, because there's other pockets of work too in Louisiana and Atlanta and Chicago and Toronto and Vancouver. But if you don't have a dual citizenship, then that's really tough too. Ultimately, you just have to be a really good actor, and in doing so, either through a college education, in theater, or taking classes with good teachers in LA, you'll develop sort of the backbone to be able to not only combat like just all the ins and outs of the grueling sort of grind of being an actor, a working actor, but also you'll be around other people who'll help you kind of develop your business savvy too, because a lot of it is really, they don't call it just show, it's show biz for a reason. So, so definitely take lots of workshops if you can, and like take a lot of classes and just continue to hone your acting skills. And usually the next question is, well, where do I go for that? And D. Bradley Baker, who's another really very, very well-known voiceover artist, has a website called iwannabea.voiceactor.com, and so just check him out. Or also Crispin Freeman, who plays Winston, also has a blog that kind of helps people to navigate a career in voiceover, and has a website and blog. So check those two out, and from there are probably other resources.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Good. No, I don't know, nothing really, but I had a question. You do the Korean lines and the English lines. Which one do you prefer to do?
Oh, that's the Korean lines are slightly more challenging. I'm fluent in Japanese and Korean, but because I'm half Japanese, half Korean. If you guys didn't know that, my mom's Japanese, my dad's Korean. But I think there's a lot of pressure to make sure that I'm super accurate in my pronunciation, and even in the way slang is used, and the accuracy is really important to me. So I would say that because it's more challenging to make sure that I'm portraying D.Va and the Korean culture appropriately, that would be the more challenging way. But I would say, I don't know, I like them both. Like, a lot of people ask me what my favorite D.Va line is, and I like of course all the the normal, not normal, the ones that you guys hear a lot, like the winky face and D.Va 1, bad guy 0, and all the very common ones. But I like the non-common ones, like boom shakalaka, she's on fire. That's one of my favorite. Or 짜증나. And I also like the lines where, or not lines, the sounds where she's baby D.Va's dying and stuff, those things too. Those are my quirky, the quirky ones. Those are the ones that I like the most. But I like them both. There's just more pressure to make sure that I'm doing the Korean ones correctly.
I had another request.
Yeah, what's up?
Could you do your favorite voice line from another character?
Oh, from another character. I like Cheers, Love. I like that one. Yeah. Because I am currently in a project where I get to play a British character, I would say, a British accented character. And so when I met Kara, I just thought, it was really interesting because a lot of people have a very standard British accent, but she has a Cockney accent, or a type of Cockney accent. And so that's that, and it's a really hard accent to kind of master. So that's probably one that I really like. Oh, I haven't gotten that one. I have to think about it, because each person, I like when, I like it when Lucio goes, Bustio! I like that one. The one that scares me a little bit is Reaper's die, die, die. That one scares me. When I hear it, I'm like, why? It's so negative. But at the same time, I get it. It's Reaper. So, and then, something that all the cast says now. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say this. Don't quote me. But a lot of people if we make a mistake in conversation, if I'm talking to Anjali, who plays Symmetra, or if I'm talking to Johnny or Gaku, and we made a mistake, or we did something, then sometimes we go, oh, sorry. And we all like to do that to each other, and then the other one goes, sorry. And so that's probably the one that's used most frequently in conversation without us even realizing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you.
So, as someone who's been interested in voice acting a bit, sometimes just by myself while playing video games or watching TV, I'll just try imitating the voices or just trying to do voices myself. My question would be, what did you do that made you want to pursue voice acting, or what did you do that, did you have little habits like that made you get interested in it?
Well, okay, it's funny. I'll just open up to you guys right now, because I was up for a pretty cool role on TV, and I haven't heard back yet, so it's not over yet. But I'm waiting on it right now still, and ultimately, and that whole story is to say even though of course I love voice acting, and I love video games, and I'm in several animations this year. 3 animations this year, and I haven't actually had a public like debut of any of my animation work yet, so it's kind of exciting that that's going to be coming out soon. My heart and passion is still in my television work. I actually have done like 2 films, but it's not something that I have had as many opportunities, kind of sad to say, to explore that, like the love or the craft of filmmaking as much. So, and I just love the pacing of television. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, it's really hard for me to watch a movie these days. It's kind of sad because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's a lull in the movie, and I'm like busting out my phone. I'm like, no. Like I have to have a better attention span than this. So, but naturally I've always gravitated towards television, and essentially, voice acting was something that I originally just got into because it's something that a lot of actors want to get into. So, like just as like a supplemental job on the side, meaning like if you're not on television and you're not filming on set, for a big studio, then you might as well sort of see if you can have a little niche in, like a side hustle, so to speak, in voiceover. And a lot of times, those of us who think of it that way end up like having a pretty significant career in voiceover. And now, I'm a big like God person. I'm not trying to push that on anybody, but I really believe in a higher power. And for me, I always feel like, like when you go into life, you always feel like you know what you want for yourself and you know what you think is best for yourself. But I was kind of like thinking about, as I was looking back at like D.Va, and I'm also in this other one called Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with as Seraph. And does anybody play that? Black Ops 3? Yeah. Does anyone know who Seraph is? The 54 Immortals. People are always like, what? Yeah, that's right. People are always like, are you really Seraph? I'm like, yes. I went from like literally blowing out my vocal cords on Seraph to like playing D.Va about like a year later. And it was really cool because I got the opportunity to do both. But, and one thing I realized once I got into the voiceover community is that sometimes in the acting world, I'm just gonna be honest, like especially for on camera, the sort of social dynamics are sometimes not the healthiest. There's some really beautiful things that happen when we're making art together, but ego and stuff gets in the way. But where I feel like with voiceover actors, the VAs tend to be a lot more like just as talented as television actors, if not in some ways more. I mean, just as talented, yet have a sense of humility and openness and caringness and like wanting to help that I feel like not all television actors and film actors have, like as a part of their characteristic. And so or as a part of their character. And so this is such a huge and gross generalization, but every VA will tell you that the VA community is freaking awesome. Like it's just really, really like there's really rarely a bad apple. And because of that, I know that my higher power wanted me to really get into this so that I can always have this very good and relatively safe community of performance artists to be able to feel like I'm a part of something as I'm continuing to, hustle through my television career. So I know that's a kind of like a long-winded answer, but that's my personal answer about why I love voiceover and why the community of voiceover will always mean like something so deeply to me.
All right, thank you for that. Another question is pretty short. So you said you main D.Va. Is it kind of weird hearing yourself all the time?
Yeah, no, it's not. So like at first it was a little weird and I was like, oh, I don't want to hear this. That's weird. But then now I don't really hear it because I'm like, we got to stay on the payload. We got to defend. We got to do this. We got to capture the flag. We got to go. Like, so I don't really, I don't hear myself and go, oh, that was me. Or she goes like, when I do the alt and like, she's like, nerf this. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, that was me. Like, there's no time to think about that. Like when you are playing, you're playing. The one thing I do hear is like the stomping of the mecha because I'm kind of sensitive, like my ears are sensitive, which is what makes me, a decent performer, a voiceover artist. But at the same time, because I'm sensitive, I can hear her stomping, and sometimes when it's like really quiet, that kind of bothers me a little bit. But like the mecha is a mecha, and I'm much respect to the mecha. But so yeah. But otherwise, my voice doesn't really bother me. When I hear my friends playing me, that's weird because then I'm like, what? Oh yeah, that's me. So yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. Enjoy your stay.
Hi.
Just to let you know, we have about 9 minutes.
Oh my God, already? What time is it?
It is 46, but I figured we go to 55.
46. Okay, we started at like 7:15, right?
Huh?
We
Yeah,
started at
supposed to go
7:15. Okay.
Oh, this is a short question.
I figured we'd do a couple
When's
more
our
questions.
next
We have
panel?
time.
8 o'clock? Or the next person's coming in at 8?
I think so. Do we have something at 8 o'clock? Or text?
I just want to make sure that we're
probably find out.
respectful
Probably
of
at 8
whoever.
o'clock.
Okay, I'm going to try to speed run through this.
Okay, this is an easy question. You said that you play Roadhog main. My question is, do you ever play with a cast, and who you think is the worst, and who do you think is the best?
Player?
Yeah,
oh my
player.
god, I can't out my cast. I know who probably is. Well, the thing is, I know a lot of I can't say. It's like yeah.
Can you make it approximate?
What?
It counts approximates.
What was that?
Like approximate, you know?
Oh, approximately?
Yeah.
I know. I can't say it. Thanks for the question though.
No, it's fine.
Hi Kiki.
So
Kiki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was viewing your Instagram story a couple days ago, and you said you like just wanted.
Can
to
you speak up a little bit?
Yeah. You said you just wanted to like relax and play Game of Thrones. Who's your favorite character in Game of Thrones?
Oh my gosh, do you guys not know this? Wait, you sometimes something relax? Can you start from the very beginning?
I was viewing your Instagram story a couple days ago, and you said you just wanted to relax and watch Game of
Oh yeah. Oh, where I was doing the funny like Snapchat face. Yeah. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I should take this down. It's so embarrassing. Actually, I think I got like a little like self-conscious about it, and I took it down like an hour before it erased on its own because it's like, oh, this is weird. So people ask me like who my spirit animal is, and like I have several, but like I would say one of my top 2 is Queen Cersei. Yeah, so I know everyone's, House Stark, and everyone's a Daenerys, a Khaleesi, fan, but Queen Cersei has always been my spirit animal, and I'm gonna say it. I'm House Lannister, and have always been, always will be. Oh, okay. I got like one clap. They're like, "Ooh, let's walk out."
Okay, the second question will be really quick, but can I get a video of you saying "Cheers, love" and "Die, die, die"?
Okay, let's do it downstairs because like there's so many people waiting. So let's do it like when we meet later. Okay. What was your name?
Kiki, I guess you can call me Kiki.
What's your name?
Kiki.
Oh yeah. Well, what's your real name?
Nico.
Nico. Oh, okay. Cool. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hey.
It's just a quick question. So you main D.Va, right? And I was just wondering what your favorite skin for D.Va was.
Oh, my favorite skin is the Summer Games Teguki one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I
That's
just
it.
like the flag, and
Yeah,
it's just like
really
it's
nice.
sleek, and it's just like so, just clean and pristine.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, good seeing you again.
Hey. Do you play Pokemon?
So funny. No, I don't.
No. Oh, okay. Would
Oh my god, that was the most disappointing thing. Oh my god, it's so funny. People have this weird reaction with the Cersei Lannister thing because I truly I love her so much. Everything about her I feel like is who I am, which is really bad. Okay, I'm not that evil, but anyway, and it's so funny because I never thought that I would get such a negative reaction from not playing Pokemon, but I don't play it.
and my second question is, have you ever played a villainous role?
Yeah. Oh my God. I have an announcement that I haven't made on social media yet, but I've told people at San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm telling everybody here at this con. But I am playing my very first video game villain role in a game, I can actually say it, called Agents of Mayhem. Oh. Have you guys heard of it?
Oh.
It's like the next sort of installation to Volition Saints Row. And I'm playing my first villain in my entire career. I don't think I've played a bad girl. Like I've always played like pretty good girls until then. Not pretty, like beautiful, but like pretty good. She's an actual. She's Korean, and she's that's all I can say. But she's kind of like a bad diva.
Oh.
Yeah. Like she cusses and stuff.
Oh. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank you so much.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hey, what's up?
And thank you for coming to Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so my question is, how do you love your role as D.Va, and how do you like your voice acting career at Blizzard?
What's the first question?
How do you love your voice acting role as D.Va?
How do I love it?
Yes.
I mean, I'm D.Va and D.Va's me now at this point, so I love her. No, I really, really love D.Va because of, I mean, of course, everything she represents is wonderful, but at the same time, I just love that I can have such a connection with people. Something that I really appreciate about the Overwatch community in general is the fact that we're all sort of in this together. And there's, I think I'm really proud of our cast because of the way we've sort of represented the game and how much we all love and have invested in our own characters as well as each other. And we all get along. We're all really good friends, and we're like a family, and we plan to continue to deepen our friendships and as we go forward. So, and I love Blizzard. Blizzard is really, obviously like an important part of the whole thing because, and the way they sort of, their philosophy is that nobody is more important than the other, whether it's like on the dev end or whether it's on the end of the cast. And I really love that because most projects, let's face it, there's so many, so much hierarchy, and they place importance to, the diverse cast and the diversity even with amongst the devs. And so I love the company with all my heart. Great people, great company to work for, and I love D.Va. Okay, let's do lightning round because I think we have like 1 minute.
All right. So my question was that have you and like the cast like ever considered like cosplaying your own characters?
You know what? I think there's a couple other people who have, but I say no because there's just so many good divos and divas out there, or hivas or D.Nova for anybody who can get that joke. Oh, it's a little not suitable for work. Anyway, did anybody get that? D.Nova? 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 Okay. Anyway, somebody just got it. They're like, oh! Yeah, so not me personally. I think a lot of people ask me if the character was drawn after me, which is like super flattering because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. But I'm nowhere near anatomically perfect as she is, as I always say. And she was drawn before I met her. So I want to sort of, it's a lot of pressure to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm sure people will be like, oh my God, not only do you have the voice, but now you look like D.Va. But I really want to leave that up to the cosplayers and not really like take away the cosplayer community thunder like that, but never say never, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. 2 more. Hey, what's up?
So I wanted to ask, what character in Overwatch do you hate fighting against?
What character
in Overwatch do you hate fighting against?
Oh, I mean, I could say this because I think everybody feels this, but like, I love May, okay? May is great in so many ways, okay? Oh, yeah, this is like, you guys know where I'm going with this, but like, man, sometimes, like, I think it's because I underestimate her, like, all the time. I'm like, all right, this game, I'm gonna watch out for the May, and then, like, May gets me, and I'm like, ah! So it's not that I hate it. Hate is a very strong word to use, but like, she's one of those, like, toughies where it's like, everybody kind of like mentally, discounts her, and then she's like, shh, and you're like, oh, shoot, so I would say she's probably the one that I feel challenged by.
Well, thanks.
Okay, hey, Charlet.
Hey, what's up? Last question.
Okay, yay. All right, so this is kind of a little bit of a serious question, but what are with you being half Korean, half Japanese?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the fact that sometimes, like, we as Asians or Asian Americans don't seem to be represented really well in the media or on TV? Yeah. So kind of like, with the films that end up casting either Caucasians or different racially based people compared to when you could have obviously, look into the character's backstory and they're of like Asian descent. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I can go on forever and ever about this, and you guys know at this point that I really can. But I will try to make it short, just because we're ending. This is an extremely important topic for I think any Asian American performer. It's something that we've all kind of had to deal with, as we've all grown in our careers. And I think representation is super important. Things are going towards a positive direction, and one of the reasons is because I think more Asian Americans and non-Asian Americans are starting to stick up for Asians and for ourselves. And I think that's a really big thing, especially, honestly, if I can keep it real, you can't anymore in this day and age make a really racist joke or something that's super stereotypical about black people anymore. That's just you people just don't do. Like the N word does not get tossed around like for fun, but the C word or, chink or all those derogatory things about Asian Americans, it's still in mainstream media and it's the low hanging fruit, like the language barrier-ish and all the stuff that, really make Asian Americans really upset, it's still out there. And I think that it's because up until now, culturally, a lot of Asian Americans haven't really said anything. And it's kind of like, we just people have, but it's now becoming a more cultural norm to be able to be like, hey, that's not right, and we've got to get to a better place. And even for comedy, like I have a friend who, was kind of unaware of this, and I was just talking to him about it the other day, and he was like, I really appreciate you mentioning this because I had no idea that just because somebody couldn't understand what I was saying in a sketch or something, that this is something that could be offensive. So there's just a lot with that, and it's a very heavy topic that I don't like to shy away from, because I feel like to be like, oh yeah, we're going in a better direction, and like, okay, thanks for the question. That's just bullcrap. Like it's like we all go through our own sort of toils in life, and as an actor, there are of course greater things that I deal with as a human being, but as an actor, that's definitely something that I as well as all other Asian American actors have been challenged by. And so one thing that I'm proud of for D.Va at least is that at the very least she represents a culture unapologetically, and other cultures have come to respect it where they want to be a part of that too. And I think the more we kind of connect with each other and really see the humanity in one another, the less we'll see the more we'll appreciate each other's different cultures and the diversity that we all can be a part of. So thanks for that question.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for coming to Florida also.
Yay! Thanks, you guys.